Since I was about 9 years of age, as in every country, younger kids would be asked about the older people, what would you like to be when you grow up? I always said I want to be a barber. My father took me to a barber shop. I said, look, he always said I want to be a barber. Let's see what happened. He said, what I used to do is go to school in the morning, 9 or 12 o'clock after school, go home, do my own work, and then I go to the barber shop, sweep up the floor, and I started lighting people's fires with the soap and this and that. But after 2 or 3 weeks I was there, he told my father that I'm going to be nothing else except a barber.
I met him about 25 years ago. He had his shop across the road, and since then we became very, very close friends.
When I first went to have an haircut with him, I said something really silly. I said, Frank, your name is Frank, right? Yeah? I said, my name is Vito, I'm from Universal. I needed a hair job. So he looked at me with a raise in his hand. What did you just say?
Yeah, Rundle Street was when I knew him, when he was just over near Ruby's Cafe.
I started trading here in '84 and he'd already been here for 23 years or something like that. Okay. Yeah. And he had his first shop was up the top by East Terrace.
And he moved from Rundle Street across here about 10 years ago.
Wow.
So he's been cutting my hair ever since.
Ever since that day?
Well, apart from one occasion, I walked past. I was on holidays and got a bit scruffy, so got my hair done somewhere else.
Yeah, I've gone in there for a bit of a trim. He does my fringe occasionally. It's a bit worrying with those glasses.
Has a good reputation, that's why I came down to see him, and since then I always stuck with him.
Where were you born, Frank?
I come from Sicily, and I was born in Sicily, and I sat west of the island, and was in 1940, tell you the truth.
Barbershop for the men, hairdresser for
Yes,
the women?
there was, men
Italy?
as a man in Italy, and a man as a man, and a woman as a woman. There was not actually together, mixed together. Each one was individual. Those days, and you couldn't actually fat to work, and not together with a woman because it was taboo, especially in Sicily where I come from.
When we took over the East End and started the redevelopment, I think it would be fair to say that Frank was a little bit reluctant initially to move from the Main Street frontage to this relocation, but I think his business has continued to blossom.
I'm here with Frank on East Terrace, just off of Rundle Street. Frank, where are we? Can you tell me a little bit of a story about where we are?
In front of the shop. Derek, when I came to Australia in 1957, I started working at December the 9th as a hairdresser, which I already knew my trade from Italy. And I was here for about roughly 6 years.
How old were you when you first
I was
started here?
17 years
17 years old.
Yeah, next door was a deli. We used to go out for drinking and things like that, very close to there. And many other shops were after the deli, like a dry food shop and like a second-hand book shop. I used to get a lot of people who were drinking and also drunk on the ground, police coming with the sort of van and they tug them out to the jail. That was a good memory those days.
I mainly do shaves with Frank, because that kind of gives me the feeling of being back in Italy. When I was there, we always used to go to the barbers and they kind of used to sit down, a little bit of male bonding and lather you up and give you a shave.
Yeah, I think I like the old school feel of the barber, sitting there and with Frank, you can have a chat, and there's always sitting there with other people waiting and have, talking about life.
The story that made recently, a few months ago, it was diagnosed he had some kind of like a cancer. Yeah. And through his bone marrow from his brother, and believe me, it's a miracle. That's a miracle. He used to do a story that him.
Location number 2. Right? What year are we talking about here?
We talk over the 60. It could be 64, 63, 65. But initially, the second boss that I had is put me here as a manager for about a year or so. Then after that, in 1966, I took over as my own business, and I was 20 ideas inside this location, as you can see. Next door is a very famous shop, so they used to be called, his name is Rental, and used to sell ginger beer. And everybody knew as a ginger beer shop in Adelaide, and used to be opening next door here until very late in the night, until 12 or 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I knew his mum and dad for many years before I actually knew Frank was there. And when I first saw a photograph of him, it was on the mantelpiece at their home, and I thought he was my sister-in-law's boyfriend. But
Really?
she quickly put me right and said that was her brother. But I'll tell you this.
Yes.
Once he said, while we were going out, which was only a 14-month courtship, wasn't very long, he said to me, if I say to you that you have to give up work, I'm a passionate hairdresser,
Yes.
he said, if you have to give up work, because he wanted to wear the pants in the family, right, you have to do it. And I said, no way, I am never, ever going to give up my job, you know, because you say so. So I'm still working today.
And do you think over the time the barber industry has changed?
Well, when it comes to changes, not much change. The styles are almost, reminded the same. What actually changed, in my opinion, is a generation. But in actual fact, what you see now, in my age, what I used to do that years, about 50, 60 years ago, is almost come identical.
Frank's always been careful about how he adjusts his prices. Always very conscious of the market. And he's great fun to talk as he talks away.
Somebody else with his ability, he should have a high-class hairdressing salon. But he's not like that. He loves his customers, and he enjoyed doing what he's doing.
He's just a sponge, Frank. He can soak up everything, and you can, when you want to really know something, you can go there and he kind of tells you what's going on around the area, because I guess he hears it all.
Frank's my mate, you know.
Okay.
You go to Frank, you get a world education. We talk about music, books, life.
The social, the financial and everything else. So I would say that Frank is more of a psychologist than anything else.
Okay.
I don't know, there's something quite romantic about a barber's pole.
Here we are, location number
3.
Okay. And what is the business currently now?
Now it's a lemongrass fasano, yes, it's
Okay.
a lemongrass.
Okay, so this was your shop again?
It was my shop, that was totally different than what you see now. There was a small area over 3 meters wide by 7 meters long, which almost my bag was touched the people's faces.
Location number
4.
4. So we're here, where are we
We
exactly?
are right in the Rantley Street, opposite immediately the Alfresco, which I used to go get my coffee, and they used to use the toilet because I didn't have anything here.
Okay, beautiful. How long were you here for?
I was here for 5 years.
5 years, okay. And what was next door?
Well,
Shops?
in this next door and on my left, there was Ruby. There's a well-known restaurant, and everybody know about Ruby.
Yes. The word legend, icon, why do you think that name's been thrown around about Frank, and why do you think people keep going back to it?
I think he's deserved that. I mean, 50 years in the East End,
Yes.
from my knowledge, and 55 years or 6 years in Australia. Got here on a boat, couldn't speak any English, and has been cutting hair ever since.
The big guns had just taken over the fruit and veg, the company that owned the market and all the land. And they reckoned that nobody belonged here after they were going to reinvent the street. Younger traders like myself decided that you can't take somebody like Frank out of the equation. He became the mascot of our whole community down here.
Wow.
So he was in the paper all the time.
Okay.
Back in the 80s.
Well,
He did, he opened Q Bar. Yeah, I remember they wanted to get an icon to open it, so who better, than Frank.
He's quite a character. He's a bit of a ball breaker as well. It might be a nickname, but he's earned it.
Artwork. I've noticed some artwork here by
Bresky.
yes.
It's called A Little Off the Top, and the joke is that Frank's like lobbing off, because he's done haircuts over the years that he wouldn't necessarily agree with, and so it's a little bit of a parody on like the fact that different people have, like all sorts come to Frank's shop, and he's got a lot more hair in this, as you can see, because this is a few years back.
Where are we now? Location
We
number?
are number 5 shop, Varden Avenue, which in my opinion, they would be my last post, of the trial.
So how long have you been here for?
This is about 12 years now.
12 years
yes,
here?
That's what, 12 years in the shop. Retirement, I cannot set the date, but I can only say each day gets closer.
He would miss going to work, the routine of going to work more than anything. He really likes it.
Yes, he does.
Then you stay home and peel the potato, clean up the onions, clean up the garlic.
His fear is that if he stays home, I'm going to make him cook the meals.
That's it. I think
there'll be a lot of people miss him. So we're trying to keep him there where he is.
Well, it would be a disaster.
A disaster?
Absolutely.
I don't know how he keeps those hands going.
It'll change Varden Avenue, that's for sure. It's sort of, we have so many regulars that pop in there for a haircut and then pop here for couple of bottles of wines.
It's sort of bloke that needs to keep working. Yeah, that's his home. That's his second home in there. Yeah.
No, we can't. We do not accept retirement. Frank will have to leave here in horizontal ways.
Well, what about if he set up shop here?
Then there'll be a bigger difficulty.
That's a problem
We
because
got to
I
split
work
up our
here.
time.
I
Monday,
work here.
Tuesday, Wednesday I work.
Yes.
Thursday, Friday she's doing.
Yeah.
And when she's doing, I'll get out of the place, the house. When I'm doing, she get out of the place.
Yeah.
To pick a career, I would say to the young one, if you not actually have the ability to go have a degree at the university, try to learn a trade. Trade is always is needed, either be in Australia, any other country in the world. The industry in general, be whatever they might be, factory, builder, young, they exploit all your energy. But the moment you reach that sort of age of 35, 40, 45, those players are not going to give you a job. But if you're wiser and learn a trade while you're young, you will get the money. That's what I would tell the younger one. Don't go for money while you're young, because you will pay back as you get older.
So how long have you been coming for?
For 15 years.
15, okay. How long have you been coming for?
His whole life.
Your whole life? How old are you?
9 years old.
9 years old.
He had his first haircut here.
Okay, so.
And if you want some photos, I've got him in like a little beard and braces when he's like 6 months old.
Okay. Oh, that's a killer! Oh, oh,
Don't believe him. Don't believe him. It's not true.